Hi, welcome to episode 272 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, your host, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop where I sell my handspun yarns called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. Hi, how are you? It is Monday, April 6th. We are entering week 4 of stay at home here just outside Kansas City, Kansas. And things are going well. I hope that you are healthy and well, that you have been crafting and enjoying time with your family. And I hope that your family and friends are well as well. I know that's too many wells. I just want to thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back and spending a little time with me. It's interesting because I don't often think about the fact that I record to a camera and I don't know who will be watching at the other end, but I also know that I've been home a lot more and been watching more new to me podcasts. And so I hope you are finding me and that you enjoy what you see here today. I don't even know what to start with. There has been lots of knitting time, and sometimes I knit and sometimes I don't. I have been having a bit of problems settling into projects. As much as I like interesting new projects, I think my brain at this point is ready for garter stitch and soothing knits. And so I have cast on a ton of things only to find that they don't interest me as much as I had hoped they would, and continue to cast on more things. So I have more things to show you this week. But I think I have 2 winners now, so I think I'm going to stick with these 2 until they're done. I'm also finding I had some plans on designing for the year. And that involved, I'm putting together a hat collection, and most of them are blue hats inspired by Hat Not Hate for Lion Brand Yarns. It is their campaign against bullying, and the idea is to knit hats in blue. And I am designing a series of hats that I thought I would put together as an ebook. But I'm finding that my design inspiration in the last few months, or in the last few weeks, has totally taken a nosedive. And all I've wanted to do is surround myself by comfy knits. And the thing is that it really is a cause that I believe in, and I want to knit more hats and encourage other people to knit more hats. So I need to be working on my patterns. So I'm hoping to cast on some of those this week, and I haven't decided whether I'll show you them or not before they're ready. My current plan is to do an ebook collection with 4 patterns and to put it up for sale when I have the first 2 patterns done, and then with deadlines or premiere dates for the final patterns. So that is also something I'm working on behind the scenes a little bit. No sample knitting as of right now, although I do know that I have a few things coming. So I'm taking some time to enjoy my own knits and just kind of do comforting things. I have been listening to audiobooks, I have been taking extra naps, and just kind of hanging out. So I kind of have a frog in my throat, which I believe is just allergies. The weather here has been a little crazy. It was in the 60s and 70s last week, although windy. Then on Friday and Saturday, it dropped into freezing temperatures. We had rain that actually formed, the raindrops were forming icicles on some of our patio chairs out in the back. And then in the next couple days, it's going to go back up to 80 degrees. And everything is blooming here. The grass has greened up. The trees have buds on them. And so there is a ton of pollen. And so I have just been a little congested for the last couple of days. No fever, no cough, and no other symptoms. So I think it's safe to say it is still allergies, although we are staying home anyway, so we are not sharing our germs with the world. So today, I am drinking Bigelow Jasmine Green Tea. I had a container of this in the cupboard and it is really nice, and I've added a little bit of honey for my throat. And I'm drinking it today in my Roastery camp mug. I kind of forgot that I had this. I was looking through the cupboard the other day. The Roastery is actually a local coffee company here to Kansas City. And I just love this camp mug. It's big and oversized and keeps tea warm for a while. And so that's what I'm enjoying, my jasmine tea and honey. So I only brought 2 projects to show you this week. The first you have seen before, and that is my Ripple crop top by Jessie Made Designs. And I am knitting that in a gorgeous yarn that I got at Ply-Away last year, which was here in Kansas City. And this is Yarn Geek Fibers, the Rocketeer base, which is a fingering weight, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 4 ounces, 496 yards, in the colorway Vonda N. McIntyre. As I said last week, Yarn Geek names her colorways after nerdy women, which I love, and Vonda McIntyre is a sci-fi writer. This is her colorway, and it is turquoise and white and lots of splotches of purple and a little bit of pink, as you can see, and it's a beautiful colorway. I am working on the Ripple crop top, which, as I said, is a pattern by Jessie Made. It calls for a crop top, although I think I'm going to knit mine not quite so cropped. And it is worked in the round from the bottom up until you get to the armholes, and then you split. And I forgot to measure it, but it looks like I've got between probably 6 and 8 inches now. For my size, I think it only called for about 6 inches, and I think I'm probably gonna... So I am a 38 bust, and so that is normally the size that I knit in a pattern. I don't want this to have a ton of positive ease. The pattern actually, I believe, suggests negative ease, and so I went for the, I think, size 36, which would be 2 inches smaller than my bust. I might have gone up to the 38 or 39. I can't remember. I'll have to look and bring that for next week. Normally on a sweater, when I separate for the arms, and top down, I usually work the body to about 13 inches. So I'm thinking that I'm going to work maybe 10 or 11 inches on this one before I split for the arms. Again, that is several inches more than it calls for, but I am not entirely a crop top person. However, I do want a fun summer tee, and this is what I have done so far. So this is the colorway. I don't think the monitor is doing it justice because I think it is brighter and happier than it is showing. And that's a little bit, well, no, it just seems to wash out a lot. These are my skeins. Yeah, it's just washing out. It's not looking as nice and bright as, anyway, this is going to be a nice summer tee for me. And it is, even though it is ribbing, it is super simple, ribbing in the round, and I just keep knitting round and measuring every so often. I'm alternating my balls every other round so that I don't have any obvious pooling, and so far that has totally worked, because as you can see, I just have, it might be slightly spiraling, but not too much on the different colors. And as you can see, there's some blue and purple and a little bit of magenta. And so I am really thrilled with that. It's a nice, easy knit, and I can read or watch TV, and it's soothing. I can get into the rhythm and not worry about it too much. And hopefully I will finish the body this week and then separate for the front and back. As I said, I have 3 skeins. And I might actually try and add more sleeves to it as well. Wow, these 3 look really different when I hold them up. I need to wind this one and see what it looks like compared to the other 2 so I can manage my yarn as well, because these 2 skeins do not look as much alike as actually I would have thought in the skein. When I wind them up, they look different in the balls. This one looks a little bit brighter, and this one has a little bit more white. Anyway, so my plan is to keep working on this one and hopefully get to the sleeves. And then my thought on the sleeves is they are written, I believe, just as little cap sleeves. And I'll have to think about exactly how I want to do it. But my thought is that I will possibly do, you know, slightly longer sleeves or 3/4 sleeves as much as I have yarn for. And so this will still be a nice summer top. Summer here tends to be very, very hot. But also since we'll be indoors quite a bit, I expect in the warm weather, air conditioning tends to be cool. So my plan is for a nice summer top that I can either use for layering or that will keep my arms warm. So that is my Ripple crop top. That's a little bit better on the color. It is kind of a fun pool blue, and I'm just really looking forward to getting to wear it. The yarn is beautiful to work with, nice and squishy, and that's soft. I love that cashmere in there, and I think this is going to be a great pattern. It also is very flattering for a variety of body types. I think the ribbing helps. I don't know what I want to say about this because I do not want to use sizes language, and I think I already did by saying flattering. It is just a design that seems well suited to a variety of body types, and you can customize it and make it your own. And so I really feel like this is going to be a nice summer knit. So I'm enjoying that, and I decided to cast on something new this week. So yes, you have seen me cast on a bunch of new things. Like I said, I have just been kind of looking for something to stick. I started a DK weight sweater, which I really do want to get back to. I'm really interested in it, but I wasn't sure that I'd be motivated to work on it because right now it is... Well, tomorrow it'll be 80 degrees out, which is too warm for a DK weight, DK/worsted weight sweater. And I started a colorwork hat because I wanted to support the designer, and I really do want to knit the hat, but I am finding that colorwork is just not where my brain is at right now. So I went looking for another pattern, and actually I should say I have been supporting my local yarn dyers. Not just local. I have been supporting my favorite indie yarn dyers. I am lucky enough that I can work from home during this time, as can my husband. And so I am trying to pay it forward by supporting people that I know could use it right now. And one of those dyers had a sale last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess. And that is Freya Fibers. And she had a sale on a variety of her different yarns and bases, but the one that I opted for is her merino, ombre merino lace, which is a 2-ply lace. It is a 75-gram ball, 650 meters, 712 yards, and I got 2 colorways to be worked together in a shawl. This one here is Cloud and goes from a pale silvery gray out to a dark charcoal, and this one is Hard Candy and goes from a bright yellow out through green, blue, and purple to end at a hot pink. And I ordered these knowing that I wanted to use them together in a shawl because total it gives me about 1,400 yards of lace weight yarn for a nice lightweight shawl, and I did not know what shawl I wanted to use them for. And so I kind of let them sit for a few weeks or I guess I ordered these 2 weeks ago. They came within just a few days, so it's been about a week or two. And I let them sit waiting to be inspired. And then last week or the week before, Stephen West released the Painted Bricks shawl. And the Painted Bricks shawl is a combination of stockinette and garter stitch and little sections that look almost like bricks. And he designed it to be used with mini skeins or leftovers in your stash or whatever you want. And I decided to make it simple and use two ombre yarns for mine. Now the pattern itself calls for fingering weight yarn, and I am using lace weight, so I fully expect that I'm going to be a little off. I ended up using the same size needle that the fingering weight calls for, which means I'll probably get more stitches to the inch, which means I probably won't have enough to finish the shawl. That is fine with me. I will just knit as far as I can, and when I hit the end, when I'm starting to run out of yarn, I will finish. Stephen West makes really nice, generous sized shawls, so I'm not concerned about that. And then mine will just be light and airy, and a little bit more open than the fingering weight would have been, but I'm not bothered by that. So we'll just see how far I get. This project is totally hitting my sweet spot of wanting something that is somewhat repetitive, a little bit of garter stitch and stockinette stitch, something that doesn't require a ton of concentration, and I think the color changes are what is going to keep me interested. This is just one afternoon's work yesterday, and I went ahead and started it with the yellow and the light gray. Contrary to what you would think, I decided to put the less exciting color as the bricks, and I did actually have a reason for that. The reason is that the main color of the shawl actually takes more yardage than the bricks portion of the shawl by a little bit. In the fingering weight, I believe it was about 720 yards for the main color and about 600 yards for the contrast color. And I decided to reverse mine because I want to use up every last inch of this gradient. I want all of that gorgeous pink in there, and the thought that I would only use 600 of the 712 yards meant that I wasn't going to get to use all of that color. So my plan is to use all of the color on the garter stitch portions, and then if I have to use a little bit less gray in the scarf, that is totally fine with me. If I don't finish all this charcoal out here, that's fine. So that is my plan, and I think the pink and the dark gray are going to look stunning against each other because they should get close to that. And so that's my plan, and like I said, I've just got a little bit done. I plan to do more this evening, you know, it's funny because on some of these projects, I feel like I should ration them out. So I feel like, oh, maybe I should only do like a certain number of sections each night so that this can last me the maximum amount of time because I'm really enjoying it. But I'm probably just going to tear through it. So really, that's probably what's going to happen. So that is the second project that is on my needles this week. I forgot to talk about what I am wearing. You actually saw this last week, but this is the Bondi shawl by Meg Gadsby. And it is a pattern, it was written for a single skein of fingering weight. I actually upsized mine and used 2 beautiful skeins of DK weight that I had from Fat Cat Knits. And I blocked it out this week, and it is just nice and open and airy. I love this part at the end with all the eyelet and then the picot detailing at the edge. This is just a lovely shawl. Like I said, written for a lighter weight, but I knit it in a heavier weight, and I am just as pleased with it, and it is perfect for this afternoon in the house. And it's just cheerful. It's my colors. It makes me smile. So that is what I am wearing today. Unfortunately, that's kind of the end of the podcast. I am spinning. I am almost done spinning the first braid of Ventinari, which was the Southern Cross Fibres the Southern Cross Fibres colorway that I showed you a couple weeks ago, and that is burgundies, navies, and greens, and I have 2 bumps of that, and I'm spinning that on my Ashford Joy. I'm spinning it and the word just fractal. I was going to say the word just went right out of my head. I am spinning it fractally, so the first braid I am spinning all the way through. It is spinning nice and thin. It is South African superfine merino wool, which is absolutely the softest fiber I have ever spun, and I think it is my favorite fiber to spin. And I've only ever seen it from David, and he has beautiful fibers. That's Southern Cross Fibre. If you want to take a look, I'm sure he'd appreciate your patronage. And so I am working on those two. Those 2 were deep stash, and my hope is that I will finish the first one, get a good start on the second one, and bring some of that to show you next week. So I think that's all I have to show you this week. I hope wherever you are healthy, you are hunkering down with your family or significant others, or that if you are hunkering down by yourself, that you are finding some virtual ways online. I see everybody doing virtual knit groups and Instagram lives and trying to contact with each other while we maintain our social distancing. I wish you a wonderful, healthy week full of projects that are whatever you need them to be, whether you need them to be distracting or calming and soothing. I hope you find them, and until I see you next time, I will say happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.